So, you know how we love to find these topics that seem simple at first glance,
Uh-huh.
but
Yeah.
then, the more you dig into them, the
Yeah.
more complex they get.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what we're doing today
All right.
with this YouTube video that one of you guys sent in about wedding photography pricing in Kerala, India.
It's a fascinating case study,
Definitely.
when you start thinking about it. I mean, we're talking more than just like, finding the right Instagram filter or the
Right.
perfect lighting. Like
Yeah.
this is about economics,
Yeah.
artistic value,
Mm-hmm.
and, even a bit of social commentary when you really dig into it.
Absolutely. And this photographer, ajodhruva,
Yeah.
he's the one in the video.
Yes.
He does not hold back at all.
No, he didn't.
Like, he even calls out other photographers who are offering these packages for like 30,000
Right?
or even
Yeah.
27,000.
Mm-hmm.
And he just seems so fired up about this whole race to the bottom thing.
Yeah, you picked up on that. He definitely feels strongly that photographers need to value their craft and price themselves accordingly.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about those once-in-a-lifetime memories, right?
It's huge.
There's a lot of skill, creativity, and, let's be honest, emotional labor that goes into this kind of work.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into like the specifics of what he's talking about.
Okay.
He lays out this hypothetical $20,000 challenge
Yeah.
where someone wants photography, videography, album design, and the editing all for that price.
Wow.
So I'm curious, from a professional standpoint,
Yeah.
what do you think the implications of pricing that low would be?
Well, let's think about it.
Yeah.
Imagine you're the photographer. You've got equipment costs, software subscriptions, maybe you're paying an assistant.
Right.
Then there's the time spent shooting, editing, retouching, designing the album.
Yeah.
I mean, that's easily dozens of hours of work.
Oh, for sure.
And then at $20,000 for the whole package,
Yeah.
are you even making minimum wage at that point?
Right. It's tough because on the one hand, you want to be accessible to clients.
Yeah,
You want to build your portfolio.
for sure.
But on the other hand, you have to make this a sustainable career.
Right.
And so it makes me wonder, like, if this becomes the norm, how will it impact the quality of wedding photography overall?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is.
I mean, will we see like a decline in quality if everyone feels pressured to slash their prices just to compete?
Yeah.
And, what does that mean for those clients who are actually looking for something truly special and unique?
Yeah. And this is where Akko's argument about photographers setting their own prices comes in.
Mm-hmm.
He's basically saying, it's a personal choice. There's no fixed formula,
Right.
which, when you think about it, that's kind of how the gig economy works these days.
Exactly. So many photographers, graphic designers, writers, even developers, they're all figuring out their pricing as they go.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many factors at play, like your experience level, the specific market you're in, your niche.
Totally.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer, really.
That's actually really helpful for any of our listeners out there
Yeah.
who might be freelancers
Mm-hmm.
or thinking about going freelance.
Yeah.
What would you recommend for people like that who are trying to figure out how to price their services?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, don't be afraid to talk to other people in your field.
Okay.
Networking is key.
Yeah.
There are also tons of online communities and resources where freelancers share their experiences and pricing models.
Okay.
But, it's a journey. You'll
Yeah.
refine your pricing as you gain experience and build your reputation.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So going back to Aho, he's pretty critical of photographers who just treat this like a 9-to-5,
Mm-hmm.
focusing only on profit.
Right.
He seems to believe there's something more,
Yeah.
something artistic
For sure.
that needs to be part of the equation.
He's definitely advocating for a mindset shift.
Okay.
He wants photographers to see themselves as artists, not just service providers.
Yep.
And that means going beyond just calculating, the cost of equipment and labor.
Yeah.
It's about understanding your unique style, your creative vision, and how you translate that into something truly special for your clients.
That brings up something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Okay.
Like, how do we as consumers assign value to creative work?
Mm-hmm.
Like, do we prioritize getting the cheapest deal,
Right.
or are we willing to pay more for something that resonates with us on a deeper level?
It's a great question.
It feels like it applies to everything from wedding photography to music to even handmade crafts.
It's almost like a philosophical question, right?
Yeah.
What makes art valuable?
Right.
And I think Io tries to address that with his analogy about silver and gold.
Okay.
You can't expect to get gold for the price of silver.
Right.
He's saying photographers who are creating something truly unique, something that reflects their artistic vision, they deserve to be compensated accordingly.
Yeah, I love that analogy. It's so simple but so powerful. And it kind of gets at the heart of how we perceive value.
Yeah.
But it also raises another question for me, which is how do photographers effectively communicate that they're offering gold?
Right.
How do they stand out in a crowded market
Mm-hmm.
and show clients why their work is worth the investment?
Well, first and foremost, it's about showcasing their unique style and vision through their portfolio.
Okay.
They need to have a strong online presence,
Yeah?
maybe even a physical studio where they can meet with potential clients and really showcase their work.
Got it.
Testimonials from happy clients are also incredibly valuable.
Right. And that personal connection can make a huge difference,
Absolutely.
especially for something as emotionally charged as a wedding.
Yeah.
It's about trusting the photographer to capture those moments authentically.
Mm-hmm.
And Aho even mentions that for the client, this is their most important day.
Right.
And they're looking for someone who understands that.
It's true. So it's not just about finding a photographer who takes pretty pictures. It's about finding someone who you connect with, someone who understands your vision,
Yeah.
someone who can tell your story through images.
I kind of want to shift gears a bit and explore the client side of things now.
Okay.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the photographer's perspective,
Yeah.
but I'm curious, from your experience, what are some of the key factors that influence a client's decision-making process when they're hiring a photographer?
Okay.
What makes them say yes to one photographer over another?
I think for most people, budget is definitely like the first thing you know.
Yeah.
You have to find someone who fits within your financial limits.
Right.
But beyond that, it often comes down to things like personal style,
Yeah.
recommendations from friends or family, online reviews,
Uh-huh.
and, just that gut feeling you get when you interact with a photographer.
It's almost like you're looking for a creative partner,
Exactly.
someone who gets you and your vision,
Yeah.
especially for a wedding where you're putting so much trust in them
Right.
to capture these special moments.
Absolutely. And that sense of trust and rapport can be just as important as
Yeah.
their technical skills or the final price tag. Because, you're not just hiring them for a day.
Right.
You're essentially inviting them into this incredibly intimate
Yeah.
and emotional experience.
That makes me think back to something Ajo touched on earlier
Okay.
about photographers getting stuck in this daily 5,000 melt mentality
Right.
where they're just churning out photos
Yeah.
without much heart or creativity.
Right.
It seems like he's worried that, some photographers are losing sight of the art in all of this.
Yeah, he's definitely raising a valid concern.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're treating photography like a factory job, just going through the motions,
Yeah.
it's going to show in your work.
Right.
And that's where I think the client's perspective becomes even more crucial.
Because for the client, this isn't just another transaction.
No,
It's about capturing those once-in-a-lifetime moments.
it is.
They're entrusting the photographer
Right.
to document their love story,
Yeah,
their family history.
exactly. It's a huge responsibility.
It is.
So, how can photographers bridge that gap?
Yeah.
How can they convey to clients that they're not just another vendor,
Right.
but a partner in creating something truly meaningful?
That's the challenge, right?
It is.
Like, how do you balance the business side of things with the artistic vision?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you communicate that value to clients
Right.
who might be overwhelmed by all the options out there?
Well, I think communication is key.
Yeah.
Taking the time to really understand the client's vision, their preferences, their story.
Yeah.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
And then it's about demonstrating through your portfolio and your testimonials that you're capable of capturing those authentic emotions
Right.
and telling a compelling visual story.
It's almost like you're educating the client,
In a way, yeah.
showing them what's possible and why investing in a skilled photographer can make all the difference.
It's about demystifying the process and showing them the artistry behind it all. Because ultimately, it's about delivering a final product that exceeds their expectations.
Yeah.
And, becomes a cherished heirloom for generations to come.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
But thinking back to Aho's video,
Yeah.
he really emphasized that clients should prioritize quality over cost
Mm-hmm.
and not just go for the cheapest option.
Right.
Do you think that's a realistic expectation in today's market?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Yeah,
I think it's a balancing act.
yeah,
Of course, we all have budgets to consider,
for sure.
but I also think there's a growing awareness of the value of handcrafted
Mm,
bespoke services,
yeah.
kind of like the slow food movement, but for photography.
Oh, let's talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a segment of clients out there
Okay.
who are willing to invest in quality and artistry.
Mm-hmm.
They understand that it comes at a price. They're looking for something more than just a snapshot.
Okay.
They want an experience, a story, a piece of art they can treasure.
And those are probably the clients that Aso is trying to reach with this message.
I think so.
He's challenging photographers to elevate their craft
Mm-hmm.
and attract clients who truly appreciate that value.
Exactly. And it's not just about photographers.
Right.
It's a message that resonates with anyone in a creative field.
Yeah.
Whether you're a musician, a designer, a
Yeah.
writer,
Mm-hmm.
recognizing your worth and creating work that reflects your passion and expertise.
Yeah.
That's so important.
It's inspiring, honestly.
It is.
This deep dive has really got me thinking about the choices we make as consumers and the value we place on creativity.
For sure.
It's made me realize that there's so much more to consider than just the price tag.
Yeah, it's all interconnected, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The economics, the artistry, the client's desires,
Mm-hmm.
and our own personal values.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating ecosystem to explore.
It's like we're peeling back the layers of an onion.
Right.
And with each layer,
Mm-hmm.
we get a little closer to the core of what makes creative work so special.
I love that. And I bet the next time you see, like, a stunning wedding photo,
Uh-huh.
you'll appreciate it on a whole new level, knowing all the thought, the skill, the heart that went into its creation.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening.
Good.
But before we wrap things up,
Okay.
I wanted to circle back to that gold and silver analogy that Aho used.
Right.
It really struck a chord with me.
It is powerful.
It is.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, it really highlights the challenge
Mm-hmm.
of communicating value
Yeah.
in a way that resonates with clients.
Right.
How do you convince someone that your photography is gold
Uh-huh.
when there are so many silver options available,
Yeah.
especially online?
Well, it's about telling your story,
Okay.
showcasing what sets you apart,
Mm-hmm.
demonstrating your expertise, and, building trust so that clients see you as more than just a commodity.
So it's not just about the photos themselves,
Oh.
but about the entire experience you provide,
Right.
from that first consultation
Yeah.
to the final delivery of the album.
Exactly.
It's about creating a memorable and meaningful journey for the client.
Precisely. It's the whole package.
Yeah.
Your personality, your professionalism, your creative vision, your commitment to excellence.
Right.
And it's about finding those clients who align with those values,
Yeah.
who understand that gold requires an investment.
You've given me so much to think about.
Good. I'm glad.
So for our listeners who are maybe planning a wedding
Right.
or any other event where they need a photographer,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give them based on what we've discussed today?
I think first and foremost, do your research.
Oh.
Look beyond just the price tag.
Yeah.
Consider the photographer's style,
Hmm.
their experience,
Well-
what their past clients have to say about working with them. Right. And most importantly, trust your instincts.
Mm-hmm.
Choose someone who you connect with, who understands your vision,
Yeah.
and who you feel confident will capture the essence of your special moments.
That's such valuable advice.
I hope so.
And honestly, I think it applies to any service where you're looking for someone to create something unique and meaningful for you.
It does.
It's about finding that right fit,
Yeah.
that partnership built on mutual respect and understanding.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
This has been such an enlightening conversation.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much about the photography industry,
Yeah.
and it's made me appreciate the intricate dance between art and economics
Mm-hmm.
in a whole new way.
It's a fascinating world, and I'm glad we got to explore it together.
Me too.
You know what? Even though we've been focusing on wedding photography,
Mm,
I think a lot of these insights
yeah.
are relevant to other creative fields as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Whether you're a graphic designer, a musician, a writer, a craftsperson,
for sure.
the challenges of pricing your work
Mm-hmm.
and communicating your value,
Yeah.
those are pretty universal.
And the temptation to undervalue yourself, especially when you're starting out, can be really strong.
It really can.
Yeah.
So how do you break free from that mindset?
Mm-hmm.
How do you find those clients who are willing to invest in your gold?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
And there's no easy answer.
Right.
It takes confidence,
Yeah.
persistence,
Right.
and a willingness to put yourself out there.
Okay.
And sometimes it means saying no to projects that don't align with your values or your pricing structure.
Because ultimately, it's about building a sustainable career
It is.
where you're doing work that you're passionate about
Yeah.
and getting paid what you deserve.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where your passion, your talent, and your financial well-being all come together.
Now, that's a goal worth striving for.
It is.
This deep dive has been so inspiring and insightful.
I'm glad to hear that.
It's given me so much to think about,
Yeah.
not just as a consumer, but also as someone who's always trying to find ways to express my own creativity.
And that's the beauty of these deep dives, isn't it?
I think so.
They spark curiosity,
Yeah.
they challenge our assumptions,
For sure.
and they encourage us to explore different perspectives.
So as we wrap up this episode,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with a question to ponder.
All right.
What are some of the factors that influence your decisions
Mm-hmm.
when you're looking for a creative service,
Okay.
whether it's photography, design, or anything else?
Right.
What are the things that make you say yes to one artist over another?
And how can we, as a society, better appreciate and support the artists and creators who enrich our lives with their talents and their vision?
Those are some excellent questions to reflect on.
They are.
I hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought
Yeah.
and maybe even inspired you to see the world of creative work through a new lens.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
So, as we're wrapping up this deep dive
Yeah.
into the world of wedding photography
Mm-hmm.
and the economics of creative work,
Right.
there's one more thing I kind of wanted to touch on
Okay.
that I think our listeners might find interesting.
Oh, I'm all ears. What's on your mind?
Well, throughout this conversation, we've been talking about value
Uh-huh.
and how to communicate that value to clients.
Yeah.
And it's got me thinking about the flip side of that coin.
Okay.
As consumers, how can we be more mindful
Mm-hmm.
and appreciative of the value that artists and creators bring to our lives?
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in that consumer mindset
Right.
of wanting the best deal, the lowest price,
Yeah.
the fastest turnaround time.
Yeah.
But we often forget about the human element behind the work.
Yeah.
The hours of practice, the creative energy, the emotional investment that goes into crafting something beautiful and meaningful.
Right. And I think sometimes as consumers,
Yeah.
we need to be reminded
Right.
that we're not just buying a product or a service.
Mm-hmm.
We're supporting someone's passion, their livelihood, their dream.
Yeah, it's like we're all part of this intricate web of creativity and commerce.
Right.
And when we support artists and creators, we're not just getting something valuable in return.
Yeah.
We're also contributing to a thriving cultural ecosystem.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
So as we kind of sign off here, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Sure.
How can we as individuals
Mm-hmm.
be more conscious and supportive
Yeah.
of the artists and creators in our communities?
Well, I think it starts with awareness,
Okay.
recognizing the value they bring,
Okay.
not just in terms of the final product,
Right.
but also in terms of the richness and diversity they add to our lives.
And then there's the practical side of things.
Right.
Choosing to buy from local artists,
Mm-hmm.
attending their shows, sharing their work with our friends,
Mm.
leaving positive reviews,
Yeah.
recommending them to others.
All those little things can make a big difference.
I think so too.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to engage with them
Yeah.
on a personal level.
Okay.
Ask them about their process, their inspiration, what challenges they face. That connection can be so rewarding for both sides.
And you never know, you might even discover a new passion
That's right.
or a hidden talent within yourself.
Yeah, that's the beauty of creativity. It's contagious.
It really is.
So go out there, explore, connect, and support the artists and creators who make our world a more vibrant and inspiring place.
I love that. Well said.
Thank you.
And on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye.
Okay.
This deep dive into the economics of wedding photography has been a truly enlightening journey.
It's been a pleasure exploring this fascinating topic with you and our listeners.
And remember, the next time you encounter a piece of art,
Yeah.
a song, a photograph, a handcrafted item,
Anything.
take a moment to appreciate the human story behind it,
Right.
the dedication, the creativity, the passion that brought it to life.
I agree.
And if it moves you,
Mm-hmm.
if it resonates with you, let the artist know.
Mm-hmm.
Your support can make all the difference.
Until next time. Keep diving deep.